The market is an infinite stream of opportunity. It's not about any one trade at all. It's about allowing the math to work, allowing the system to work. If you're focused on what somebody else is doing, that never works out well.
You are listening to Right of the Chart, the podcast for self-guided, independent traders. Hey everybody, thanks for joining the podcast today. I am Sean Vincent. I am the voice of Right of the Chart. Adam Sarhan is the brains behind Right of the Chart. Adam Sarhan is not here today. He'll be joining us in spirit. I'll be talking again to our mutual friend, Michael Lamothe. Mike is the founder of Mara Wealth. That's M-A-R-A wealth.com. He was once a student of Adam Sarhan. He is his own independent self-guided trader now, the author of some great books on trading. He's generous to give us his time today. This conversation is exactly what I needed. The Chart Your Trade model portfolio took some hits this week. I felt a little bruised, but we talk about the importance of not focusing on any one particular trade. It's trusting in your system and being able to learn from the losers. We'll talk about that and more today. Thanks for joining us. But before we get to all of that, remember that in the market, the past does not predict the future. No results are typical, and there is inherent risk when trading in the market. This podcast is for educational purposes and does not constitute financial advice. I keep a spreadsheet also of the portfolio, and when a position sells, I just put where it went in, where it went out, and some other details on the spreadsheet in order, right? And then I highlight it either red or green, depending on whether it was a winner or a loser. But what it does is it gives me a really great visual cue as to when things are working and when they're not working, right?
Yeah, very good.
Or how much I have on the active position portfolio. But just to your point, where I noticed, like, you'll start to see, all right, that's more red than usual, and along with what else I know about the market conditions, or what I think I know, or the P and AMP for Adam's system, the psychological analysis, I might feel excited about things in my brain or in my heart, but when I just see things aren't working, I have to respect that, and that's my sign to shrink the exposure, slow down smaller positions, or just stop altogether for a while until I see, my watch list, and you look for breakouts. And if you see things start to hold and things work, then all right, I can turn it back on and measure that success again. It's really not extraordinary rocket science, but it requires critical and active observation, and then the experience to trust what you're seeing and translate that to the decisions you make.
The market is an infinite stream of opportunity.
Yeah.
So if there's a few trades that don't work, they don't work. You wait for the next one, you get on. If you miss a trade, the market is an infinite stream of opportunity. You get on the next one, you don't chase. And that's a big part of how the math starts to work in our favor. If we're going after the best opportunities, and the best opportunities are the ones that fit our strategy, and we've tested our strategy.
Yes.
And we're able to verify that, does this match what I've tested? Yes. Great. Put that trade on. Some of them are going to work. Some of them are not going to work. All that's okay, because the market's an infinite stream of opportunity, and you just keep on putting more trades on as the quality ones are there, and you follow your rules. And
like, do you know, have you read The Black Swan, Nassim Taleb?
No, you mentioned that one last time, I think. I haven't read it yet.
No, that's okay. It's an influential book for me. Not necessarily, he's a trader also, different philosophy altogether. But he talks about decision making under risk. And one thing he put in his book is someone taught him not to run for trains. He lives in Manhattan. Subway comes along, you hear it coming, you run for it. Well, here's the deal. Or like a tram at an airport. There's going to be another one in just a few minutes, right? That's the
Right.
idea. So why stress yourself out? Why look like you're so desperate to make that train? And when you talk about the market as this uh, theater of infinite possibilities, I think people do, they get caught up on, oh, if I miss this setup today, I'm a loser. But we know that, especially in strong market conditions, there's gonna be another one tomorrow, or next week.
Right. And the people that have been trading for a while know, like, it's not about this trade. It's not about that trade. It's not about any one trade at all. It's about allowing the math to work, allowing the system to work. And it's you need to put on the best trade, the trade that fits your system.
Yeah, yeah. And if it's about allowing the system to work, then the smartest trades, even if that particular trade doesn't work out, if it was according to your system and your system's proven over time, that's the good trade.
Yeah. Yeah, and if you're in a scenario, right? Because some people are in a place where maybe they miss a trade because they're in a meeting,
Uh
right?
huh.
And let's say that that happens all the time. Then, well, what that person would need to do is figure out a way that they're able to execute without being in front of the screen, right? Like you talk about this. This is one of the things that I learned from Adam way back when. Well, was you set your buy orders, you set your buy stops, and you walk away,
Mm-hmm.
right? The Nicholas Darvis style, but in the 21st century here.
Right. Or uh, or you adjust your expectations to what's going to fit your style. Like you told me the story last time that when your child came, your lifestyle changed. You couldn't dedicate the same energy and time to trading.
Mm,
So you changed your style a little bit to one that fit for that period, and you did well. You did differently, and then once some of that time came back and you could adopt it again, then you got the results that were consistent with your active trading style. And I think that's when people set their goals. There's a lot of looking over your shoulder and did I beat this index or did I beat this benchmark and what's my friend doing? That all can be destructive to your trading because it's really what's comfortable for you, what are the behaviors in the market that you respond to, what are the time frames for making those decisions and looking at the market that fit for you, and then maximize the results that you get out of what fits your lifestyle and not worry about changing your entire lifestyle to fit your trading because that's going to fail, right? It's like why people diets don't work. You have to find a diet that fits your lifestyle. And if
yeah,
you try to
exactly.
go on a athlete's diet, you're going to freak out and eat a bunch of pizza one day.
Yeah, you need
Nice,
to focus on well what it is that you need to be doing. If you're focused on what somebody else is doing, that never works out well.
nice. Before we wrap up, remind our listeners about your book and what they can gain from it.
Sure. So I have a couple of books out. The one that we mentioned earlier, the Trading Mind Wheel, that one's available on Amazon. It's right behind my head,
Right over
right over
your
there.
shoulder.
Yeah, right over the shoulder. That one it teaches people the 8 essential skills that are needed for trading mastery. So one of the things that I learned when I was trading, and well, like yourself, like Adam too, started with nothing, started part time, just looking at trades while working full time. Uh, and then hearing about people like O'Neill and many others, I started to be like, okay, I need to have a system. I need to look at this, and then I started to figure out later on that there's mindset that's involved. Oh, I need to have a journaling process. I need to know how to do post analysis. I need to have an understanding of factor modeling and what that even is. And so I found these things out, but I didn't find them out all in one place. So it took me a while to piece everything together. So I wanted to write a book that took everything that you're going to need in order to be successful as a trader and put it into one spot. So that way people could learn from the past experience, but also read this and be like, yes, I want to go down this path, or you know what, this actually isn't for me. There's a lot of work involved, and uh, you know, uh, go on a different path.
A couple things there. I just want to reinforce the journaling. I think is so important. Tell me if you've had this experience. Have you ever thought, okay, here's a trade I want to make, and then wrote down in your journal why you're going to make that trade, and then halfway through writing it, decided, oh wait, I don't want to make this trade. Actually, like taking the time to articulate it changes your mind on things.
Oh, sure. And that's why it's so important to plan out what you're going to do beforehand rather than just see and do, especially
Yeah,
especially for those that are brand new, right? Well, when you have experience, then it's second nature, right? And
right.
so you might be able to look at, well, like I'll be able to look at a trade, figure a couple of things, and then place it. But for people that are just starting out, like plan out everything, because what you see as you take it out of your head and put it out into the real world, it allows you a different kind of perspective,
Right.
right? Like it's not you identifying with this thought, it's this thought is out here and you're able to look at it a bit more objectively.
Yes. Because your whatever tool you use to place your trades, it doesn't ask you why are you doing it, and are you sure, and does this conform with your tactics and your strategy, and are you being influenced by emotion? But when you write those things down as to why, because I found like I won't make a move without having written it down first. Because one, if I don't have time to write it down first, I'm making an impulsive move, and it can stand to wait. And then two, so often in articulating it, I'll either feel better or worse about it, and that's huge. And then on the other side too, um, it's so easy to forget lessons, especially if it's a loss or a
Mm-hmm.
mistake, quote unquote, because we have psychological avoidance and we don't want to admit the mistake. But if you do that post action work that you talk about and actually write down what went right, what went wrong here, and even if I've lost, would I have done that the same uh, again? Because
Mm-hmm.
it was according to my plan, you're much more likely to have those lessons stick,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. Yeah, it's important to write all the stuff down. It's important to have a, a calendar or some sort of a time dedicated for when you're going to do the post analysis work too.
Yeah,
For when you're going to go back and review your journal and everything, because oh, if you don't, then it will either not happen or it will happen at an inappropriate time. Here's an example of what an inappropriate time would be. Trade goes wrong, right? And you're like, oh man, I can't believe that I just lost my. Let me go and see, like, well, what I should have done and how and why. And oh well, here's somebody else that's saying that they're making money on this, and all those kinds of things start to enter your mind while you're in a heightened emotional state. That's not
yeah,
the time to be doing your post analysis work. You want to be
sure,
doing your post analysis work later on after hey, things have had a chance to settle down and cool, and you're able to come back and take a look at things objectively.
sure. All right, everybody, that's the podcast. Thanks for listening through to the end. I've had more of this conversation with Michael Lamothe that I want to share with you. We'll package that up and give it to you next week. We'll be back next Friday. Until then, as always, keep your losses small and let your winners fly.
Go on a different path.